Hello, friends. Another episode here of the Unfiltered podcast coming to you. I think today is May 8th, 2023. Today, spend a couple minutes here. I want to review this weekend's WWE Backlash event that took place this past Saturday. Well, first of all, not pay-per-view. It's a premium live event. We have to still get used to that. Took place from San Juan, Puerto Rico. How's Trump say it? Puerto Rico. Some, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, great. A show that I was not, honestly, when I came into the show, I was saying that I was probably at a 5 or 6 looking forward to it. Like, I was looking forward to it, but it felt, most of the card felt like a filler card, honestly. But in hindsight, man, it was a lot better than I thought it would be. And especially the crowd. The crowd was hype. So I got a couple takeaways. Nothing too elaborate. Just a couple takeaways here. I think I have about 6 takeaways here from the show. That really stood out for me. First thing, like I said, number one, the Puerto Rican crowd, the PR crowd was phenomenal, fantastic, was from start to finish, engaged. You can't ask for a better crowd. You know, I think I heard something that said this was the first show there in that region in 18 years. It better not be another 18 damn years before they go back there again, honestly, because that was absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, they were engaged from start to finish. All the surprises, you name it. So that was the first takeaway, that the crowd was into it, without question. Second takeaway for me is I don't know when it's time to turn Bianca to a heel, but I think it has to be sooner rather than later. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say that, because obviously Io Sky, Io Sky's her WWE name. She got a nice little pop. Obviously, there's a lot of appreciation for her there. And I'm not saying it was an anti-Bianca crowd either. Bianca got her love too. I know Bianca sells a lot of merch also too. With this babyface run, she has to start to have that John Cena effect though. But you can tell that there's definitely the character is getting a little stale. You can tell that people are getting a little bored with it now. You know, I think we discussed at WrestleMania time during on the Tape 3 Wrestling podcast that at some point they gotta put this thing. And for the record, it will work because there is precedence for this. She was a heel in NXT, and she was fantastic as a heel. In fact, when I started watching NXT back in 2019, that was what she was, and I thought she was great. And she got called up main roster because of it. So there is precedence for that. But I think there's got to be seeds soon to turn her heel. I don't know when they're going to do it. You can always obviously turn her with the Street Profits. Her husband obviously wants his forwards in that group as well too. So it can work as a faction as well too. I just don't know when, but it has to be within a year, man. It really has to be within a year. So, and I would say, honestly, sooner rather than later. That's my my take on that. Speaking of babyface heels and all that, number 3, I'm okay with never seeing Rhea Ripley as a babyface again. Honestly. She has this heel thing locked down. I can see her at best being a tweener, but right now, and I can see it's working for a long time. She can stay red hot as a heel. She knows how to work a crowd. You know, it's not that she wasn't a good babyface. I thought she was decent babyface when she came to the main roster about 2 years ago. But we knew out the gate it felt stale. And once they gave it a reset with Judgment Day, this thing changed the course of everything for her. She's now the SmackDown Women's Champion. And I just think that her as a badass, she's just a badass. To me, she's like Bobby Lashley in that sense for the males. Like, she's a badass. Like, she shouldn't be a sweet, cuddly, smiley, baby face like Liv Morgan is. That's not who she is. Rhea Ripley is a badass from head to toe with the gimmick, the costume, the trolling just with the crowd. You saw her work the crowd with, it wasn't necessarily a great match with her and Zelina Vega. Shout out to her, by the way, for a good job well done being here at her hometown crowd. But Rhea worked that crowd. She worked that crowd as a fantastic heel. She knew how to do that. And I don't know. I didn't mind her as a babyface when she first came in, but it's clear that the heel thing is where her money is. And honestly, if you're gonna turn her even a little bit, she has to be on the edge. She can't be a white meat babyface. She's got to be on the edge, tweenish at best. That's just what it is for me. She's a phenomenal heel. Fourth takeaway for me, I'm loving the new Solo Sikoa bloodline side plot. It's actually giving the Roman angle, him being champion for now 3 years now. It's giving the Roman portion of the angle of the bloodline some breathing room. And now with the Solo Usos, who's kind of tension here or there. It's giving it breathing room, and it makes the whole storyline as a whole so open-ended. So is Solo going to betray the Usos? Who's going to betray Solo? Will Solo stick with Roman? There's all these directions you go into, and this is why I was saying I was hoping that. This is why I wasn't against Roman winning the title, because I still felt there was a lot more meat on the bone than just Roman Reigns. I felt there's more to the story, and with Roman as champion, double champion, Universal and W champion, that it only accentuates the Roman angle. It makes it more important, and then you have the storyline with Solo and the Usos. It opens it up now because now Sami Zayn is no longer. Sami's now no longer part of the bloodline anymore, and now he's feuding with the Usos and whatnot. So it feels more wide open. It feels more wide open, and it gives this feud and this storylines a lot of breathing room. It's going to go on another year. Who knows how long is that? I know people want to end this thing as soon as possible, but I'm in no rush, honestly. My fifth takeaway here was Bad Bunny's awesome. Bad Bunny's awesome. That match with Damian Priest, and by the way, shout out to Damian Priest for a job well done as the heel in that match, in that feud. Match of the year candidate for me. All phases executed. All the phases were executed. Bad Bunny and the pop he got with the crowd. It was just the Puerto Rican street fight. Everything that came with that. The psychology, the moves. That match was straight perfection. Straight perfection. And the only bad thing about this match, we'll get to the last part of this show, my last takeaway from the show, is that this match should have closed the show. The match order was the only issue with this show altogether was that this match, the Bad Bunny Damian Priest match, should have closed the show. I'm not going to blame the WWE for doing this because I don't think they even thought that this match would be as great as it was. We knew that he'll get the pop and all that, but you also don't want to take away from the Roman and Cody because it's a bigger story being told there with Cody. Of course, Brock is an all-time great. Not Roman. I said Roman, right? No, I meant Cody and Brock, which closed the show. And that was a good match also, too. But the ending was kind of, to a lot of people I see on social media, unsatisfying. But again, had you put that match with that ending in the middle, it wouldn't feel as bad because of the fact that the last thing we saw was the roll up by Cody at the end. Obviously, we'll get another match with Cody and Brock down the road, probably with a stipulation there, whether it be at Champions later this month, whether it be at Money in the Bank in July or SummerSlam in August. But if you put that match with that finish in the middle of the show and put the Bad Bunny moment with all his friends, Savio Vega and Carlito who came out there, looked fantastic. And the LWO, that would have been a nice way to close the show with the Puerto Rican backdrop, of course, and all that. But other than that, I give the show 9 out of 10 because the only thing they got wrong really was the match order, and I can't necessarily hold that against WWE. I know people saying, well, they should have known that. Yeah, I get that, but I understand the logic of keeping Cody and Brock on at the end because that is still the biggest feud of the company right now going. And Cody, you want to keep Cody red hot as much as possible since he's chasing to get the title, whether it be the Roman title, whether it be the New World Heavyweight Championship. That was debuted last week. So I get all that. But that's the only issue I had with the show was the order of the matches. But other than that, I thought the show was fantastic. The crowd was fucking hype. Even the filler matches were great. Triple threat match was actually really good with Bronson Reed, Austin Theory, and Bobby Lashley. Theory won that match. She didn't eat the pin. Bobby didn't eat the pin, which is good. But yeah, it was a great match. It was a great show altogether. I enjoyed it. And again, it's funny with expectations too when you go into a show with lower expectations. I guess I know it's a bad thing, really. But I think even if I had higher expectations, the show was still blown away. Everybody I spoke to loved the show. The only complaint I've heard, which I agree with, is the match order. That is it. But the work, the ring work, the psychology, the crowd, all 10s. So that's where I'm at on the Backlash from this past Saturday. So that's it for me on today's Unfiltered podcast. So the next one.